The high-speed rail line HS2 got the final go-ahead today. The law needed to begin building work on the line between Birmingham and London has been given Royal Assent. It clears the way for construction of the first phase of HS2 to start. It's been nearly a decade in the planning, and it will be almost another 10 years until the multi-billion-pound project is built. Here's our transport correspondent, Peter Plisner.
Now today, London got its high-speed link to the continent.
It's been a long time in coming. This was me back in 2007 at the old New Street station. That day, I'd been one of a select number of journalists on board the first train to Brussels via the new HS1 link to London St Pancras. And the possibility of HS2 was the talk of the train.
We've been mad about motorways for the last 30 years. I think we've got to get mad about high-speed rail for the next 30 years.
And mad we got, and despite many saying that high-speed rail was too expensive, almost 3 years later, I was there when the then Prime Minister Gordon Brown came to Birmingham to formally launch HS2.
It just means huge economic transformation is possible, and therefore thousands upon thousands of jobs will be created as a result of it.
The plans would see the high-speed line cutting a swathe through the Warwickshire countryside on its way to stations at the airport and NEC and Birmingham city centre. But the announcement also meant thousands of blighted homes across the region.
Nowhere more so than here at Gilson in North Warwickshire, once dubbed Britain's most blighted village. Here, HS2 Limited has agreed to buy almost every property in the village. Some have already moved out.
There are around 50 houses in the village and virtually all of them have now been bought. Mike Dooley is yet to sell. He's one of the last of the original residents to leave.
It's very sad in a way, but it was bound to happen because when the railway comes, it is going to be split in two and it really becomes untenable as a village.
Royal Assent is also a big blow for Joe Rukin, the region's leading anti-HS2 protester. A professional campaigner, he's devastated and now looking for a new job.
It's bewildering after 7 years that it's come to this, because over that time we have won every single argument, but politics has seen this through.
But politicians appear to have been swayed by the prospect of thousands of new jobs in places like Birmingham, which is currently experiencing something of a boom in development.
This is the new HSBC headquarters being built in Birmingham. When it's completed next year, more than 2,000 people will work here, including 1,000 who will have relocated from London. And part of the reason it's being built here is HS2.
Not far away, another major development, also given a boost by the prospect of high-speed rail. From his office, Birmingham City Council leader John Clancy has a bird's-eye view of the work.
People wanting to actually bring their businesses and indeed their headquarters to this city because they see that actually, in terms of the economic activity, it makes sense, but also because 9 years down the line, we are at the centre of the economy of the UK in a new, very real way.
During the next 9 years, while the high-speed line is being built, development will also happen around Birmingham's second HS2 station near the NEC. The man in charge of what's called UK Central reckons there could be 35,000 new jobs.
Well, it's a key catalyst for the growth agenda in and around UK Central Hub. So I think without HS2, I think the growth opportunities are significantly reduced and limited in scope.
So, big benefits, but also damage to the environment during construction. With Royal Assent secured, it would seem that now there's no stopping the arrival of the high-speed train.
And Peter is on the site of what will become the HS2 station serving Birmingham city centre. He's there for us this evening. Peter, you followed every twist and turn of this over the best part of 10 years, haven't you? Finally got Royal Assent. What have people been saying about the fact it is finally going to happen?
Well, Mary, it's taken 7 years to get to this point, longer than I think most people expected, but that has allowed more debate. It has had cross-party support in the Commons all the way along, I think, which has been a crucial factor. But many still question why it's taking till 2026 before this line is open. The answer is that it's not easy to build, and actually it's not really needed until then. We've been out on the streets today to ask some of the other burning questions.
How effective is it going to be? So, obviously we know the plans, but how is it actually effective is it going to be once it comes into play?
Well, it'll increase capacity and it'll mean faster journey times to places obviously like London, 45 minutes down from 1 hour 22. Other people have been asking why it's costing £56 billion for the whole high-speed network.
It would be good to understand how we might afford this.
Well, it's a lot of money, that's for sure, and it could be spent elsewhere. A lot of people are saying that, but it hopefully will generate money by boosting the region's economy. Now, this is a question that many people wanted to ask.
How much is it going to cost to use the train, and will there be disruptions if there's any levers on the rail, as there always is?
Well, the simple is we don't know the answer to that as yet, but there probably will be reductions in West Coast mainline services, so hopefully that will mean that we won't see too higher prices on HS2. But Leeds on the line, well, we're building a completely new railway line. Let's hope they don't plant any trees on the embankments.
Peter Blisner, for the moment, thank you very much. We'll have more with Peter a bit later on the impact of HS2 on our region, and we'll be hearing from some of those living in the path of the line. Now, away from Storm Doris to our other main story tonight, which is HS2. It's been given the final go-ahead for construction to start. Now, for dozens of communities up and down the Midlands, it's a momentous day. Our reporter Bob Hockenhull has been meeting some of the winners and losers living in the path of the high-speed rail line.
Abandoned, the remnants of what was a thriving racing stables. 50 horses were in training at Horsley Brook Farm near Lichfield until recently. Now all but one are gone, sold off because HS2 will slice through a business built up over 23 years.
It's taking over a third of my property. It's not right, but like I say, I just feel that a lot of other people that are affected as well, so I'm not just the only one. But we've been in this all our lives. You know, things have got to change, unfortunately.
Ed is still waiting for his final compensation settlement. He will stay at the farm, but says HS2 means his past successes in the racing world will now never be repeated. Water Orton Primary in Warwickshire. It dates back to Victorian times. The new line will go through the playing fields. But the community isn't downhearted. HS2 has agreed to pay for a brand new £5 million school on a new site away from the construction work.
It would be fantastic for the children to have a new building which will have very little maintenance, and it will mean we can focus all of our efforts on the education, the learning and the enjoyment.
HS2 has proved painful for many people, but clearly not everyone in its path feels they are losing out. Bob Hockenhull, BBC Midlands Today.
Right, let's rejoin our transport correspondent Peter Blisner now, who's at Curzon Street in Birmingham. That's where the city's HS2 station will be built. Peter, when will construction work actually start?
Well, some work has already been done by engineers based here in Birmingham, in fact, but we're now hearing that full construction will not start until the middle of next year.
Our preparation work start this year. And what that will mean is undertaking key survey work, ground investigation, environmental work such as relocation of local wildlife. But major construction does not start until 2018.
So phase 1 was approved today between London and Birmingham. Phase 2 to Leeds and Manchester, well, it's still on track, we're being told, but that will take until around 2023 before that's open. Some work we will see starting. I mean, here in Curzon Street, we'd like to see hoarding going up to protect this historic building. It was the first railway station built in the city, and I'm being told that it's the rarest railway building in the world. So not surprising that HS2 wants to protect the building. But don't expect construction of the station to start anytime soon. We're being told that it'll be 2020 before construction of the Birmingham HS2 station actually starts.